Hi, this is Mario Simonian. I'm an attorney here at ESCO, and we're a small boutique law firm focused on helping Amazon sellers. So one of our viewers recently asked a question: what is the difference between a 1A and a 1B USPTO trademark application? So just thought I'd quickly make this video and kind of go over that. So 1A application basis is when you're already using your brand name in commerce. For example, if you're selling, let's say, chef knives, and you've got your brand name on it, and you've got the product on Amazon and offering it for sale or selling it. So that would be a 1A basis. If you've already done that and now you're trying to file an application for it to get a trademark, then you would file a 1A basis application. 1B application is if you want to kind of go ahead and reserve the name. Let's say that you are planning on getting into Amazon PL and are talking to suppliers, and you've got this great brand name that you want to go ahead and protect via a trademark, but you're not offering those products in the market right now, and you haven't even manufactured it, right? So what you would do is then you would file a 1B application basis. That is to kind of reserve a name, and you've got to obviously have an intent to use that brand name. You can't just file a trademark application for any name. You've got to have the intent to use it. Most of the time, 1B applications are used by pharmaceutical companies, because when they're developing a drug, it takes months and sometimes years to kind of for them to do the clinical tests, do research in the lab and all of that. So they want to go ahead and kind of reserve a name, a brand name, before they actually have the product, or in this case, the drug. Also, 1B application basis, also used by app developers and software developers. Whenever they've got a name but they haven't created the product yet, again, whether it's an app or anything like that, they'll go ahead and kind of reserve the name for their product or their service, whatever it may be. So again, 1B application, it's to kind of reserve a trademark name or a brand name. 1B application bases do end up costing a little bit more money, and sometimes it could cost up to $500, $600 more, and that's just government fees, and we'll kind of go over why and how that's possible. But also, one also huge difference is with 1A applications, a specimen is required. With 1B applications, at the time of filing the application, a specimen is not required. As far as what a specimen is, so with a specimen, it's kind of proof that you show to the USPTO, to the government, that you're using your brand name on your product or service. Again, going back to the chef knife, if you've got your brand name laser engraved on your chef knife, then you would just take a picture of that and then submit that with your 1A application basis whenever you're filing that trademark application. So other specimen examples can be if you've got your product listed on Amazon, it'll say right below the title, it'll say buy and your brand name. So again, if your brand name is Acme, it'll have your product title on Amazon saying, I don't know, really sharp chef knife, and then it'll say buy Acme, and that's going to be your brand name. You could take a screenshot of that and give that to the USPTO, and that'll qualify as a specimen. Okay, so that's what a specimen is. Other things also include if you're doing clothing, like the tag on the clothing, that'll qualify. If you've got a website and you're doing something as a service, then a screenshot of your service would also qualify. So that's what a specimen is. Essentially, it's proof or evidence that you show to the government that you've got your brand name on your product and or services. So now, just going back to this little chart. So again, with the 1A basis, the specimen is required because you're filing that application saying that, hey, I'm already using this brand name in commerce. Okay. With the 1B, you don't have to file that specimen yet. You'll file it later on in the process, in the application process. So that's kind of the real difference between the 1A and 1B. Now let's get into a few more of the details and specifics. So as far as the timeline and process goes, 1A and 1B applications have almost the same process and timeline with or at the USPTO. So the way it'll work is whenever you file your trademark application, it'll take about 2-3 months for it to be assigned to a trademark attorney or an examining attorney as they call it. And at that point, once it's assigned, the attorney at the USPTO will go ahead and review your application for any mistakes you might have made. And if it's a 1A application, take a look at the specimen. And if there is anything wrong with the application, they'll go ahead and issue an office action, okay? But assuming that there's no office action issued, or if there is and you successfully overcome any of the rejections that they've raised, then they go ahead and publish it for opposition. Essentially what that is they'll go ahead and file it in the Gazette, or think of it as like a newspaper that the trademark has. They'll go ahead and file it in there and give the public 30 days to kind of raise any issues. So here's kind of what issues may be raised. So if my brand name is Acme and I see that there's a new brand name coming out that's called Clackme, let's say, and I think that it's kind of too close to my mark, and the USPTO didn't think so. That's why they didn't raise any issues. But now it's in publication. I'll have 30 days to kind of contact the USPTO and or the other applicant and let them know that, hey, I've got an issue with that trademark application. Okay. However, assuming that that's not done and it's been published for opposition and 30 days have gone by and no one in the public has raised any issues with that trademark, then what happens, if it's a 1A application, you'll get your certificate of registration, or COR. And if it's a 1B application, the USPTO will go ahead and issue a notice of allowance, or NOA for short. And with the NOA, essentially that's letting you know that, hey, we're ready, everything's fine with your trademark application. Now you need to show us proof that you're using your brand name in commerce. Okay, so again, if we're doing chef knives, then we'll need to kind of show them a picture that, hey, when I first filed this application, I wasn't using my brand name on my product, and or I'd even have my product created, but that was 6 months ago, or that was a while ago. But now I've got it, and here's a picture of it or a screenshot of it. Okay, so whenever we're ready with that specimen, we'll go ahead and file a SOU, or statement of use, to the government and show the specimen with it. And whenever you guys file a statement of use, you guys will pay $100. So that's one option. However, the second option is you can let the government know, hey, I see that you guys issued a notice of allowance. Everything is fine with my trademark. However, I need a little bit more time. I'm still not using my brand name in the marketplace or in commerce. So you could file an extension. And an extension is going to be $100 for each extension. So once let's take a step back. Once the notice of allowance is issued, you've got 6 months to either file your statement of use with your specimen, if you've got it. If you don't, then you'll go ahead and file an extension and pay $100 and get another 6 months. Okay. However, within 30 months of the date of the first extension request that you file, the statement of use must be filed with the government, and that obviously the statement of use will include your specimen. Okay. So another way to kind of put this, instead of saying 30 months, you've got 2 years and 6 months after your notice of allowance is issued to go ahead and show the government that you're using your product in commerce. So this kind of the timeline for an extension, assuming that you need all the extensions that the government will provide to you. Here's kind of how it'll work. So all the way to the left, that's when your notice of allowance is issued. So they'll give you 6 months. At that point, once the NOA is issued by the USPTO, you've got 6 months to either show proof that you're using your mark or request an extension for 6 months. So if you request an extension, you'll pay $100 and get another 6 months. Let's say your product's still not ready. That's when you'll do the second extension and then pay another $100. And let's say it's still not ready, the third extension, pay another $100, and then you'll have the fourth and final extension. And then after that, this is 30 months after the NOA is issued, you'll either have to pay $100 and file your statement of use along with a specimen, or you'll have to go ahead and abandon your trademark, okay? So again, 1B application, they can be a little bit more costly. Well, they will be a little bit more costly. And keep in mind, these are the fees that I mentioned are just the government fees. Depending on the attorney you're using or the trademark service that you're using, they may charge an additional fee too to file those, because it is a little bit of work to file those extensions and even filing the statement of use with a specimen. So just keep that in mind with the 1B application. Eventually, you'll need to go ahead and file your statement of use along with a specimen. Hey, if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. We're a boutique law firm helping out Amazon sellers such as yourself, and we release helpful videos and guides almost on a weekly basis. And also, if you guys need any help with trademarks, copyrights, and patents, or account and or ASIN reinstatements, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email. Lastly, if there's any topics that we haven't covered yet or discussed, feel free to send us an email and we'll create a video or helpful guide for it. Thank you.